Daryll Wharton with Daryll Inspires LLC, and she is our guest today. And we've got a really good subject today where we're talking about relationships. We're talking about being, taking care of your body, taking care of your health, and loving yourself. So, just bear with me 1 second. We'll get this rolling. Daryll, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryll, and I am CEO of Daryll Inspires, where I assist anyone, but my passion is plus-size women to be who they want to be and live their best life. Stop living by numbers on a scale and start living by, their worth and having a powerful life and learning about healing, nutrition, and fun exercising, self-love, and all of that good stuff.
Yes, all that good stuff. Okay. So, Daryll.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a lot of things here, and I want to first kind of talk about how you got started with being a life coach.
Okay. Well, I started with myself, basically. I've been heavy since the age of 2, so my parents told me that at the age of 2 I started gaining weight, and from then on it just, every year I couldn't fit into the clothes from the previous summer. And growing up heavy like that, you have difficulties, you're trying to fit in, you feel left out a lot of times. I will say that I was very blessed that I wasn't teased a lot in school because of my personality. Mm-hmm. So, I had friends and everything, but high school was very difficult for me because that's when you really are starting to come into yourself as, as a woman and as an adult. And I just could not be who I knew, who I was inside.
Okay.
And I wanted to try to do it on my own, but when you grow up and, you don't know what to do, that's a hard thing for you to change all of these habits that you have. So at the age of 28, I decided to have weight loss surgery. Someone had told me about it maybe a couple of years before, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to try my best. Well, I have joined Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. I couldn't even tell you the name of so many things that I have tried in regards to lose the weight. I started Weight Watchers at the age of 7 or 8, going with my mother, where, she was trying something to, assist me. So I decided to have the surgery, and I had the surgery, and then about 3 months after the surgery, I joined Weight Watchers again. And of course, I'm blaming myself, like, what is going on that I just cannot get this right? And then maybe about 2 years later, a friend of mine just said, maybe you need to go see another surgeon. Maybe something is wrong. And sure enough, my first surgery, my surgeon did not perform the surgery properly. And so I had a revision to that surgery. And then I started to see success. Okay. And so my highest weight was 621 pounds.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, and people will say, well, how in the world did you survive? Well, when you grow up heavy, you learn to adapt. I went to school. I was working and going to college at the same time. I married my high school sweetheart. We've been together since the 10th grade. So you learn to adapt, but you get to a point where I knew I really was ready to be the person who I knew who I was. And I was very sad. From probably high school up until that time, I know I probably cried every day. And it was like a ritual, crying myself to sleep, every day. And I did this, with my husband and boyfriend at the time. but no one else knew how sad I was, because I've always was that person that was just happy and come on y'all and everybody's friend. So I had the surgery. I was very successful with it. I got all the way down to like the mid 200s. And then my husband and I decided to start our family. I had 3 babies back to back, 04, 05, and I made it to January of 07. So I had, stair steps babies, and started to gain, a little bit of it back. And then once my youngest got to be about 8, I said, you know what, come on, you done had this surgery. I'm very blessed. All I had was arthritis and a low thyroid. No high blood pressure, no diabetes, and I still don't have those things to this day. So I was very blessed. Yeah, so I said, come on, let's get this popping. So I started going to Zumba classes.
Okay.
And the first one I went to, it was 4 of us in the class. And it was 3 college girls from college. And they were all young. You talking about somebody broke when I left that class? I was holding on to stuff, walking to the car, but I said, I will not stop in here with these girls in this class. So then I didn't go back for about 2 months. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that. All that jumping around with my arthritis and stuff. I mean, I was in pain. And then I found someone to go to in Baltimore, and I was going like 5-6 days a week, and I started to get, some results. And but then I realized that you cannot just do one thing. It has to be the eating, it has to be the exercising, and it has to be your mindset. And so once I kind of really developed a plan for myself. I'm plant-based now. I haven't had meat in about a year and maybe 2 months. Oh, okay. I dibble-dabble in cheese every now and then, but that's really only because if I'm out eating somewhere and they don't have vegan cheese, then I will dabble in some cow's cheese. But in my house, we don't. In my house, I still like to say plant-based, because vegan people, they get very touchy now. Veganism is a lifestyle. That means that you will not buy a leather, coat, or not to say that I go out to try to find leather things, but I don't like to claim that if I'm not doing it 100%. So, and that's what I've been doing. I got certified to teach hot hula fitness. And I was teaching hot hula for a while, and I love when the people come in and they're like, well, who's the instructor? And I'll be like, oh, this right here is your instructor, boo. And so they, like, you're the instructor? So, I just started really incorporating everything, and I started to see some success. And then I realized I do have a trainer, because I know for me that works for me. And so with that trainer and me going plant-based and me doing my journal writing and my mantra, it just all kind of meshed together. And the reason why I live by the motto, cute and curvy, while on my journey, is because I'm not finished yet, and I'll never be finished. You know why? Because your lifestyle and what you eat and how you take care of your body, that should be a lifelong process. There is no ending to living healthier and being happy every day. There is no ending to that. So I'm not actually where I want to be. I don't go by numbers on a scale. I go by how I feel. I feel wonderful. I have a low thyroid, so I have to do a little bit, little things differently. I'm tired often. I'm also anemic because of the surgery. So because I didn't get the follow-up care. So I'm learning, what I have to do in order for me to be my best every single day. And then the thing came about with me, the life coaching and helping other people, that when these women came to my class, I realized that they got way more than hot hula fitness. Just the fact that I had to talk them into looking into the mirror and looking at themselves while they are exercising, I was just saying, there's a need. Because I would have to say to them, I'm going to try to glance at y'all, but trust and believe, I'm looking at me this entire class. Because I love me, and I love the way I move, and I love the way I look, and I love my waistline. Yes. So, I had to talk them into looking into the mirror, and I don't care what size they were. It was very difficult for them to do. And that's where I came up with, you know what? It has to be something better than looking in the mirror and not being happy. I think that's so terrible to not be able to do that, you know? And so that's what I strive
to love yourself.
To do. Yes, you do. It is so, so important, because if you don't love yourself, nobody else will. You know,
that is definitely true. Now, I mean, not all heavy women though feel that way. I mean, would you agree with that?
Not.
That, I mean, because I've met heavy plus size women who, you know, they love their weight. They love being heavy. You know, the men love being, I mean, it's not the healthiest. I'm sure they're tight, you know. But, you know, it is, you know, weight is a struggle. I mean, when you get a certain age, weight is just a struggle too. But you're saying that you were like this since you was a child.
Yes, at the age of 2.
Were you raised in Baltimore?
I am. Yep, and still am.
Okay. Oh, you said, okay. All right.
Still here.
All right. Well, that's a good location. That's a wonderful location.
Yeah.
Because you're so close to, you know, D.C. and everything too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here today to talk about this subject. So we're going to kind of move on along.
Okay.
For some reason, you are not pinning up to my screen and staying there. I don't know why. Like I said, I am not a technician at this, y'all. So, you know, one of the discussions I want to talk about tonight is how do you get rid of black self-hatred? Okay. You know, the imagery that we see with children all the time, you know, from early age on to adulthood. We see such bad imagery of black women and black men. And I know you have, I mean, this is a subject that you really can talk about because you have 3 young girls.
Yeah.
And some of them are in the teenage years and some are just now entering into the teenage years. And that is, I would say, because I got 2 girls myself, but they're grown. I would say that is the most difficult period. Okay, the period that your girls are right now, because your girls, and that's another subject for another podcast, but you know, mentoring black youth can be very difficult because of the peer pressure, because of, you know, all the bad imagery, you know, and these kids are confused now. I mean, let's just, you know, so how do you deal with that? How do you balance that out in family? Keeping your kids?
Well, first of all, you know, I had that fear when I found out I was pregnant with my first daughter. I was just like, God, please don't let her be heavy. And so I've been very blessed. My girls are, and they jumped right on board with this new plant-based lifestyle. First of all, I only asked my husband, and once he said yes, then the whole house had to conform. But my middle daughter had a little bit of struggle with her weight, which proves that it's not always that someone is sitting around eating all day long. So the conversation did come up, and I just had to say to her, unfortunately, like, Mommy, you're going to have to work at being a healthy weight. So I talked to them. About what they see on TV and the negative images that, you know, you see on TV, and you always, the heavier person is always that person that no one wants to be. And to be honest, some people who are a little bit heavier, it doesn't equate to unhealthiness. Just like if you see someone that's really, really tiny, it doesn't mean that they're all the way healthy either.
No, not at all.
And that's why you have to go by how you feel and your blood work and talking to your doctor and are you flexible? If you fell on the floor, could you get right up? That's how I judge how healthy I am. And for me, because I'm not exactly where I want to be, I refuse to say that I'm trying to get smaller. What my goal is to be healthier. And so when you see those images on TV portraying, you know, those types of negative images about weight, and we even do it with skin color, and you know, we do it, and you have to make a conscious effort to change your thinking. And that's where the journal writing and creating of your mantra comes into play, because we have these negative thoughts in our head that we don't even think that we're thinking all day long, but we are. Right. So, and your mind is very, very strong. It is so strong. It could change your life and how you are thinking, and those thoughts lead to feelings, and then they lead to actions. You know, how often do we start a diet and we mess up, and then we say, oh, well, I'm going to start on Monday. So what I tell people is, as soon as you mess up, you start over right then and there, because you're worth it. You know, you have to make a conscious effort to combat all of these negative things. And in my house, like, I only bought books that looked like my children. And so those are what they have been exposed to. They only had dolls that looked like them.
Yes.
Yeah. That was very important.
And that's good that you can find them now, because I know when I was a kid, you couldn't find black dolls hardly, you know.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful that you can find them. This whole thing about imagery, though, think about it, you know, and, you know, I told you I look at a lot of other podcasts, live podcasts, and I know lately there's been a lot of talk about black femininity versus white women being feminine, okay? One of the things that a lot of the black men talk about is the fact that a lot of the white women are much thinner than black women, okay? But we're built different.
We're built different.
We are very different.
Absolutely.
And historically, you know, we're just larger, bigger people, bigger bone people, more muscle, that sort of thing. And so, you know, how do you feel about that? I mean, you know, the imagery that we see, and, you know, and a lot of, you know, times a lot of men are, you know, think that black women are not feminine enough. You know what I'm saying?
I do. For me, I love being a black woman first. Let me say that first. And I love my curves. And my husband loves my curves. So, and like I said, it has to come from within. I'm proud to be a black curvy woman. And you know what? Even if I lost another 50 or 75 pounds, I'm still going to be a curvy woman. If those curves leave, that most likely means I'm underweight. So,
or unhealthy to you,
or unhealthy to me. Like, I don't want. And sometimes you see people when they lose so much weight, and then people think that they are sick, and they aren't so comfortable. And I'm not going to go by the physician number based on your height and all of that stuff. I'm going to go by how I feel.
Right.
And my
body mass index is what they call it.
I'm just going to go by how am I feeling. Now, body-wise, my goal is I want to be able to go into any store and be able to fit clothes. I hate still having to go to plus-size stores. So whatever that looks like for me, I don't know what it looks like for me. But I know I'm not going to say to you, oh, well, I want to be 150 pounds, because I may not look right at 150 pounds, and I may not feel as good as I feel right now as 150 pounds. So I think it's all in men's preference. So if you like thinner women, then some black women are still thin too, and some of them, they wish they had curves, you know. So I don't know if it's more of a body thing or whether you just like white women, you know what I mean? But some of the beautiful white women, they have some curves too. So I guess it just depends upon the person's, you know, preference. But for me, and luckily for my husband, and I'm married to him, he loves my curves, and so that's the only person that I'm worried about loving my curves anyway. I'm not even worried about anybody else.
No. I hear ya. I hear ya. And nobody should, you know. I mean, how does that relate to how you would tell another woman that is experiencing unhappiness, though, with her weight?
Yeah.
You know, what would you share with, you know.
First thing I would start off with is, "Hey, beautiful," and that's 9 times out of 10. That's how I greet all women, because sometimes it takes people aback a little bit when I say it, because there's a difference when, and you can even see it when someone, let's say if you got a makeover, and they come out, their hair is done, their clothes are all pretty, you see a totally different person based on just hair being done and clothes being different.
Okay.
So that's your mindset, and that's why I teach you have to start within your mind. So my first thing to her would be, you need to start writing, "I am beautiful. I am beautiful." You need to see it. Make it a wallpaper on your phone. I am a firm believer that you can speak and write anything into existence. And you have to make a conscious effort. And when I first started on this journey, I would wake up earlier just to write. And I would write, "I am beautiful, I am beautiful, I am beautiful." And I would just write it about 10, 15, 20 times. And then I would feel that way, just not even thinking about it. You know, I never felt like I was ugly, but I can honestly say that I really didn't love myself as much as I thought I did. Because then when you really, truly are in love with yourself and love yourself, you make better choices.
Yes, you
so
do. You do.
That turns into, it's almost like a little catch-22. You know, I try to teach women to get that down first, and then they start making better choices for themselves because they love themselves. And I don't want any emails about, well, what you trying to say that, you know, if you don't make better food choices, you don't love yourself. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you have that consciousness of, you know, I'm going to take care of you today. And I used to look in the mirror and I would say that to myself, I'm going to take care of you today. You have a whole new outlook on how your day is going to be and what kind of choices you're going to make so you can take care of yourself that day. So you have to really just say it. And it sounds silly, and I would write things on my mirror in my bathroom. I would do Post-it notes to remind myself I'm changing, and I have to change inside first.
Well, that is one of the slides that, you know, in the video that, you know, I had created too, was to talk about, you know, show some of the things that you can do to, you know, to take care of yourself. Okay. So I want to just get that on the screen here. But before we talk about that, I would like to talk about, and I don't know if you can see, can you see my present? You know what?
Yes. Why reasons why some people become obese?
You can see my presentation? Okay, great. So, you know, genetics. Yeah. Like, I mean, you're born that way. Was your parents heavy? Were they?
Neither one of my parents were heavy, but my mother's, both of my grandmothers on both sides were heavy. So my and my father's mother was always 300, 400 pounds growing up. And I truly believe it's genetics. So like I said, my middle daughter went through a little period when she was about 9 or 10. And you know, I feed all 3 of my children the same. I was not setting her to the side, giving her more food. So that was just a part of, you know, and I just had to say, unfortunately, you're like mommy, you're going to have to work at it. And luckily, I knew what to do with her. My mother did not know what to do with me. She did the best that she could. And so I helped her and got her motivated. And then she went off. Anything she decides to do, she does it. And she did. And she lost it. She lost it. And when I say lost the weight, what I would say to her, because we never got on scales in this house. I don't do numbers and all of that stuff. And I would say to her, what don't you like? And what she said was, I don't like that my stomach sticks out. And so that's what we worked on. And she wanted to look better in her clothes. It wasn't I need to weigh this amount, because I wasn't going to do that to my children. Because I worship the scale. And those numbers were like, that's what I'm worth. And that 620 pounds, I was worth nothing. You know what I mean? That's how I felt because of that, those numbers on my coat. Well, you want to put down and stuff, and I say no, because I don't care what your scale says. So you can weigh the coat and the purse right along with me, because I'm not going to come in here and be judged on a number on your piece of paper that you write down, and then some women will leave and you will absolutely destroy their day. You're not going to do that to me, so you can go ahead and weigh me, somebody else, and get on here with me. You can put it right down on your paper. It doesn't matter to me.
Yep.
So,
and then we already kind of talked about eating healthy, like, you know, all these junk foods that we see on the market. And I have to say that I've become much more of a junk food eater myself. So I'm kind of guilty of it. It's because it's quick, it's there, and you don't feel like cooking, and you don't feel like, you know. But it is good that we stay away from all these processed foods, because these foods are what kill. It's what's killing us. I mean, let's just keep it real.
You have to prep. You have to meal prep. And my husband and I, we talk about what are we going to eat for the week, because I am still human and I still have those habits. And I know that if I don't have something that's readily available in my refrigerator or my pantry, I will grab something else, because I do have other things in here, because I have children, and I'm not going to, I give them the option, I give them the information. They know that in this house we are only plant-based, so Oreo cookies are vegan. So if you sit around eating Oreo cookies all day, you know, that's not healthy either. So I do have things in my house like Oreo cookies, because I have children. And so, but we also will make different types of snacks and have them, you know, available. And so unfortunately, you're gonna have to plan, or you will pick up stuff. And when you're plant-based, you have no choice but to cook. And we don't have a lot of plant-based or vegan restaurants in Baltimore. There are plenty in D.C. But I'm certainly not going to drive to D.C. Every day to get something to eat, and that's not going to be cost-effective for my family either. So, you know, I started with recipes. I started with making a recipe, and if everybody liked it, then that became a staple in our house. And if they didn't like it, I didn't fix it again. So, and people are crazy when you say you're plant-based, and they're like, well, what do you eat? And I'm like, food. What do you eat? What kind of question is that?
Yeah.
You know, mushrooms are delicious.
I love mushrooms.
Yeah, with mushrooms.
I love mushrooms.
Chickpeas.
And you know, now I don't shop at a traditional like Kroger's or stores, anything like that. I go to Asian markets, and like when I lived in Texas for 10 years. I would shop at the, you know, the Mexican markets, and then I lived in Vegas for a while, and in Vegas they have a lot of Filipinos, and they have a Filipino, I think Rancho something, I can't think of it. I just love them. You know, I love the fresh bakery, and I love all the fresh produce, and I do eat meat. Okay, I love, you know. That's one thing I don't think I'm ever gonna give up, you know. And I know that people say it's so bad, but I can't eat fish. I guess I would eat more fish. You know, I'm allergic to fish. Okay. And so anyway,
you buy the organically, the grass fed meat. It's still better.
Organic meat. Yeah. Now I'm not a real heavy meat eater though. Like you know, you're not gonna find me eating ham and, you know, smoked hawks and all that stuff, okay? You know, but I do like a pork chop once in a while. I don't care for bacon, but, you know, so I do like eating meat. I like soups and I like sauces and stuff like that. And I like drinks. I've gotten into, my daughter is a chef, so she has gotten into a lot of health foods, you know, and so it's getting me into some. In fact, I ordered some stuff off of Amazon a few days ago that, you know, like, you know, stuff that you can't buy in the store, you know, like certain herbs, like moringa, and stuff like that. You know, you can't just go in a store.
Your little specialty, stores. And I haven't really branched out that much. When I say I really use normal things, like I fix mushroom and wild rice soup, and my children, I know that I have to fix like a double back. So I fixed enough for like 10 people because within like 2 days, it is gone. And I make it creamy by using raw cashews, but blended them up in the blender, and then I put that into the soup, and that makes it creamy. And it's celery, onions, mushrooms, wild rice, and vegetable broth. That's all it is. And it takes me about maybe 30 minutes to fix it, and it's done. So you just have to retrain yourself and plan. What is it? Pinterest is my best friend. I find so many plant-based recipes, and I also use a product. I do a protein shake every day because I've gotten out of eating that heavy breakfast in the morning. And
I'm not a big breakfast eater myself.
Yeah, because I've had gastric bypass surgery, I need to get in protein in a different way. So I drink a protein shake in the morning. And that works for me. My husband, he's having a little bit of issue with the breakfast. You know, he hasn't had meat for breakfast. Oh, we fix oatmeal a lot in this house. Oatmeal is like our staple little breakfast.
Oatmeal's good for you.
Yeah, because I used to fix that scrapple egg and cheese sandwich, and we would be tearing that sandwich up. But to be honest, I don't even have a taste for it anymore. And that's the other thing. If you're consistent for a while, your body will not crave those things. And the chicken wing was my best friend. And chicken wings still taste good.
I love chicken.
I
got to have chicken every week.
I haven't eaten one in over a year and 2 months because I'm just not going to, you know. And I know it's good, but I've just decided that for me, and that's something that people just need to decide for themselves and come up with their own kind of healthy plan, you know, to get healthy. So I have to say to people, I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm just sharing like what works, you know, what worked for me. And how about if we substitute maybe 3 times a week a plant-based meal instead of the other meal? And it's all in balance, you know? It's all in balance.
You're right. You are so right. I agree with that. So food addiction, of course, is another reason why people become... Now, insulin. Do you know that insulin causes people to be overweight? Did you know that?
It does. I didn't know that, but I could see it doing that, especially with the rising of being diabetic and everything else. I couldn't imagine having to take insulin every day.
Right, but I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
To me, here you are, you know, you've got something that, you know, that is causing you to be overweight. Here's a medication. You know, a lot of people don't know that medications can cause you to be overweight. Now, I was reading and I saw that leptin resistance. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of leptin, but not leptin resistance.
Okay, so evidently some people's hormones don't work properly, and they are resistant to leptin, which helps you automatically lose weight.
Well, if you have a low thyroid, because my thyroid plays a big part in for me too, and it's low, which makes it very, very hard for me to lose weight. And I'm tired. If I'm not doing anything, I'm tired all the time.
Yeah. And
that's another reason why I decided to change my lifestyle, because I don't want to keep taking this Synthroid every day. So, and it has gotten better. My Synthroid medication has actually been lowered since I have become plant-based. And my energy is getting better, but I'm still tired. Like 2 hours after I wake up, I could take a nap again with no problems. And that is my thyroid. So, you know, you're right.
Yep. And then the other thing was, the last thing here is, of course, sugar. Sugar.
That is the devil.
All of the foods we have is got sugar.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, I don't care what you have. And that's why half the country's diabetic.
Yeah.
You know?
That white sugar.
Is because of all the sugar. Okay? Yeah. So, and I think that's really sad. you know, because your body starts craving for sugar.
Yes, and they put it in. They put it in everything. And if something is low fat, trust and believe, they have added a lot of sugar in it to make it taste okay. Mm-hmm. So I use a lot of agave to sweeten things. Every now and then I will use some honey. I don't necessarily like to use honey. That's my vegan spirit coming out, to not use honey. So I use agave a lot. And of course the others, plant-based sweetener is like escaping my mind right now, but and I'm sure to come back to me. I use that a lot also, instead of the white sugar. The white sugar is like the devil, and people think, oh, well, I use brown sugar. Well, guess what? Brown sugar is just maple syrup and white sugar together. So you know, we need to be careful and really need to be knowledgeable about what we are putting into our bodies.
Right. And what about that other sugar they got out now? It's called, is it?
It's stevia.
Pure sugar or something?
I've never heard of that.
I don't know. I can't remember what it is.
The stevia.
Yeah, I don't even buy sugar. I might, you know, I've gotten to the point where I will buy brown sugar, and I will buy brown sugar maybe once every couple months now. Versus like, you know, when my kids were small, I'd be buying sugar every week.
All the time. Yeah. My husband and I, we were talking the other day. We was like, I don't know, what were we using all of that sugar on all the time? We were buying, and this is just he and I, before we even had our girls. We bought sugar all the time, and I remember we would buy like an extra large pizza, and he would eat 4 slices, and I would eat 4 slices. Well, now he can barely finish 2, and 9 times out of 10, I'm only going to take a bite or 2 because, and I'm going to scrape the cheese and the sauce off. I probably won't even eat the bread because it's going to fill up too much in my stomach.
Right.
But we think about what in the world were we thinking back then? I just, it amazes me. So when you know better, you do better. You know?
What you have to do though, you have to find a substitute. For the sugar, like you said, the guava that you're using, and I like honey, but I think the honey is not as pure as they're trying to say it is when you buy it. You know, I don't trust the honey. I think the honey's got a lot of sugar in it.
You have to get it locally. You know, not that little honey that's in that little, what is it?
The little beer? Yeah, the little beer.
If I go to the farmer's market and get the honey, then I'm just looking at them like, y'all better not be lying. This better be from y'all bees in y'all backyard. But I really will buy honey. I really will buy it. But if I'm sick, I like to do honey and lemon and ginger. And so there is no substitute for the honey. At least for me. Let me speak for myself. I like, you know, the honey. So, you know, it usually lasts a long time in my house. And it has a long shelf life anyway. So you know it's natural. Right. So you know the honey is natural, not them little McDonald's French fries that can sit around and don't change for over a year and a half. Chemicals.
I saw that hamburger that didn't mold up or whatever. Did you see that? Their burger. Yeah, it's funny. So like, hey, if anybody is out there and you know you're struggling with weight loss or you just want to change your life. You want to have better relationships. Your mic is muted. You know, if you want to change your life, Daryll is the person to call, okay? She is the person to contact, and she's going to help you out. She's got a lot of experience doing this sort of thing. So, Daryll, you do have an interesting life. Okay.
So if you can hear me, I see that your mic is muted.
Oh,
so I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, now I got you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you know, I muted my mic because every time I talk on this Zoom, it changes the picture. So I had muted the mic. So everybody who's out there, a life coach, what it is it refers to a person who counsels, who encourages clients on matters having to do with careers or personal challenges that you're facing. And as Daryll has told everybody, she's had to face her, being overweight for most of her life. And so if you are struggling through anything like that and you need some help with it, she's got, that's why she's inspired. And she started what's called Daryll Inspires, where she helps and she works with women all the time. Do you work with any men at all?
Not yet. I have not. So, the only person I could probably say is my husband a little bit. And we do a lot of things together, and it's opened up to my eyes to some of the issues of his issues are totally different than mine. My husband has always been a nice size ever since I've been knowing him since a little boy. But, with age, you start to get that little bit of stomach. And I kind of tricked him. When I went to sign up with my trainer, I said, come on and go with me. And he ended up signing, of course, also. And he has done a great job, a wonderful job. So he has really gotten into shape. And I tell him all the time I appreciate his support. When I said I wanted to go plant-based, he just said, okay, babe, so what we got to do? And so, and he's even cooking. It's not just me. He's cooking as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, you're going to get, because there's a lot of men that are overweight, too.
Yeah.
Big
and they don't
bellies
talk
and
we do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. And so, health coaching, you do quite a bit of that, and they kind of work together, that life coaching and also, giving healthy tips. So, again, I put together some things that I feel that, we could live by that will help us. We all don't get enough exercise. Of course, our nutrition, and I say not just food, but the nutrition of the food, eating the good foods like you were talking about. And you're very, very familiar, way more into the foods than I am. I can tell you that. Stress, of course. Stress is killing our people. And tell me, how do you balance out stress? I know you talked a little bit about some of the things that you do in the morning and so on, but how do you really deal with stress?
Number one, I also do stretching. Stretching is very relaxing, and I didn't get into stretching to try to relax. I got into the stretching because of the arthritis that I have in my knees and just trying to be more flexible. And then I realized this is kind of calming. So, but again, I talk, and, women are talkers, and I've been blessed to have a husband that will really listen to me and help me to kind of work through things. But my main thing is the writing in my journal is how I deal with stress. And when I say I write, I just write. And I just free write. Because sometimes our minds are going so fast that we forget our thoughts and we forget about certain things. And then a little tiny thing will turn into something so big because we just thinking about all of these different things. And one little thing turns into, oh, well, that's bad. And now it's worse. And now it's, oh, my goodness, and I hate myself. So the writing and going back to review the writing, it helps me to kind of dissect how I was feeling and making sure that how I was feeling matches what I wrote.
Right.
It makes a difference because if you say, oh, well, I hate this shirt on me, and I may write about that shirt and how I feel about what it looks like on me. It's not that I hate myself in the shirt. It may be the shirt wasn't as long as I like my shirts. And that's something totally different than you saying I'm ugly in this shirt, instead of it being the shirt is not as long as I like to wear my shirts. That's two totally different things. So you really have to dissect how you think about things and how you process things. And the writing in a journal has saved me so much in dealing with stress.
And you know, a lot of people think they can turn the TV on and relieve stress. And all that does is just, to me, create more stress.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, some of the things that us black women, black people have been doing, you know, thinking that it relieves stress, doesn't relieve stress. I mean, exercise relieves stress. Okay?
Yes.
Dancing. You know, there's certain things that I see too, black families don't do like we used to do when we were kids. Like, I could just remember, like, you know, that was time when, you know, we had albums, right?
Yep.
And we would play, you know, the family would play music, everybody would sing, like we would have karaoke. And, you know, before it was even called karaoke.
Right.
You know, just stuff like that. And so I think that we, you know, us black people, we got to get back into doing these things that we used to do. Right?
We do. Yeah, and working as a family, like we have family meetings, and it's funny you mentioned a karaoke because I have a karaoke machine in my living room, and we would do karaoke. We would do sleepover night where all of them would get their sleeping bags, and you get to sleep in the room with mommy and daddy. Things that you don't need money for.
To do. Right.
And it's very important that we will have a fashion show. And I am like the personality person in this house. My husband is very quiet and laid back. I'm loud. Come on, y'all. As soon as I walk in the house, y'all come down here and sit with mommy. Let me hold you like a baby for 5 minutes. I think it's very important that we get back to those things, especially with dealing with stress and that's exercise. Yes. You know, if you sitting you dancing for 20 minutes, that is exercising. And children don't go outside like we used to go outside.
Right.
They don't do that.
No. So that dancing does help. Even just a little bit of body movement or go on a long walk. You know, like you have a dog. I have a little dog too. And I think the great thing about having a dog is that it makes you have to take the dog out to go on a walk.
You have to take the dog
out. Even if you don't like a dog, you know, but it does get you out there. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about, now because I ran across some stuff here, as you can see on the screen.
Yes.
So, now do you still do these help? If my screen would stay put.
Here it is. Well, the Fit for Life health fair that I did, that's my trainer. That's her business. And I did hot hula at that one. And I also did like 2 other little events. So I did like 2 or 3 songs of hot hula songs just to get the crowd moving. And of course we had information there. You know, giving people information about, we had a vegan chef there. We did a lot of things. She's making really big moves too. She's a nurse. And so she is really, really good. And I feel blessed to have come across and being able to train with her.
Which one is she?
That is the Fit for Life, Taking Back Control of My Health. I did that last April. And she's going to have another one sometime this April of this year as well. Yeah, that one right there. Okay. And then my other one, my wellness workshop, is a workshop that I did. I was working at a community center. I was teaching hot hula there every week. And I tell you that hot hula fitness really sparked a lot of things with me seeing the needs of the women that were coming in there. So I did a wellness workshop. I brought my blender. I did green smoothies. I bought them ladies some vegan mac and cheese, and they were like, "You lying. This is not vegan mac and cheese." I said, "There is absolutely no cow, goat, no type of other cheese in that mac and cheese." We did stretching. I spoke to them about journaling, and I always start with people telling them to write a letter to themselves. Dear me, and what would you say to yourself anything that you would say to your best friend, what would you say to yourself? How are you going to love yourself more from this day forward? So that was a wonderful event. Green Spring Overlook Apartments, those ladies, I love them. I'm not teaching there anymore, but I love them. And they were like so receptive of anything that I asked them to do. I had them to look in the mirror and just speak to themselves out loud. And they were like, are you serious? And I said, I'm telling you, you have to start somewhere.
Yes.
And if you're not used to telling yourself that you love yourself, you have to say the words first, and then eventually it would just be a feeling. You know, I don't go around all day saying, oh, I love you, Daryll. I love you, Daryll. But I had to start with that, though.
Yes.
I had to.
So how long does it take these women to come around to when you're seeing a change in their behavior and how they feel about themselves?
I think if you're consistent with the journal writing and the creating of your mantra and saying that mantra to yourself, and coming up with a plan every time you're at a red light, say your mantra until the red light turns green. Probably within a couple of weeks, and there will be small changes. I noticed that people will start coming to class with bigger jugs of water. Just like the littlest, tiniest thing, you'll see the change. And my business was called As You Are Fitness. But then once I started doing, the teaching the hot hula and the journaling and all of those things, people would say, you inspire me so much. And that's why I changed my name. And I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to inspire people. And I would see those little changes in them and how they felt when they would put that lava on. If you look in that picture, we all have little lavas on. And you put that lava on at the top of your hips. And it's like, show your hips. We make babies. We are queens. We're goddesses. You got to show those hips and move those hips and feel good about yourself.
Yes.
So I'll say in a couple of weeks, the conversation starts, and I'll get a little email to say, I look in the mirror more now. And when you start with little things like that, then it just grows and grows and grows, and it replaces all of that other negative thoughts and negative energy.
Yeah. Yep. And then self-esteem too. Now people's self-esteem has got to be boosted up, and I'm a believer that self-esteem is something that you got to set goals. You got in order to boost your self-esteem up.
Yeah.
So now I'm showing here a page off of your website. Which your website is. Why don't you tell everybody where your website is?
My website is www.daryllinspires.com.
Yeah.
And I sell inspirational shirts. I want people to feel good about themselves, and you can't feel bad about yourself walking into a room with a shirt that says extra cute, extra curvy. Like, and on Fridays we dress down at work, and I go to work with my clothes on. They be like, all right now, Miss Cuteness. I said, that's right. So before, I used to have this anxiety, and I actually kind of still do. I don't like walking into a room that's already filled with people. It's not as bad as it used to be, because when you're heavy, you always think that everyone is staring at you all the time. Well, now I've gotten to a point where I want you to look at me. You see what I got on today? I got on my shirt. I sure did.
Okay.
I sure did. So it's like I walk into a room and I'm like, oh, I'm going to own this room. They already know, oh, who is she? And I can see some people looking. It comes from within, that self-esteem. But even still, I still have these little tiny thoughts, like if I decide to try a new exercise class and I go and I'm like, Dad, why am I always the chunkiest one in here? Is there anybody else that's chunkier than me? So, those little things, they still creep back in, and that's why I practice what I preach. I still journal write. I still say my mantra. I still write my mantra. Right. It is a lifestyle.
And you cannot compare yourself to what the society is telling you that you need to look like, what you need to look like, what your hair needs to look like, you know, and everything. I think that black women, a lot of them don't feel as good about themselves as they should when we see all these women with these crazy hairstyles and these crazy hair colors, and you know, and I, you know, I want to do a podcast on that. In fact, I am on blonde hair, and it's not just something that is black women that do that. You find every culture group has went through that. The Jews used to change their hair to blonde so that they could look more like they were Aryan back in the 40s when Hitler. I don't know if you know that. A lot of people don't know that. You know, and so, you know, and I think it is kind of, it symbolizes, you know, us going back in time at a period that, you know, there's something wrong here, okay? There's something going on in our society. So it means a lot more to me when I see a lot of people change. Like if you go down to Mexico or you go, you know, you'll see all these women with these blonde hair, but their skin is dark. You know? So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm just saying that you cannot buy into the imagery. You cannot.
You're
think
right.
that, you know, it you know, when it boils down to it, it's white supremacy, okay?
Yeah.
When it, you know, when I mean, so, but that's a whole nother subject, and I didn't want to take you there, but, you know, I just want to express that, you know, you can't buy into it.
I agree, and I normally keep my hair colored, as you can see on my picture on my website. I love light brown hair. I think it complements my skin and everything. But now I'm going through this awkward stage of growing my hair out. But every now and then when I look at my pictures with my little tapered cut, I just want to cut my hair again. But I'm gonna stay strong. I'm gonna stay strong. So right now I don't have any color in it. And it's like,
nice.
you know what? It doesn't look that bad this dark. But I'm so used to my hair being lighter.
Are you? So you're used to wearing the blonde and stuff in your hair
well,
too?
Not blonde. I did have a little bit of blonde at the top of my my taper cut not too long ago, and that was the first time I did that. But I've always had like a golden brown, like a sandy brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were doing, so I mean, my sister, one of my sisters, she has light colored hair and that's kind of the sandy brown hair, the color of your hair too. So, but I don't see anything that wearing that color that's making you look like you're not who you were born to be.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
You see these women where they're wearing this. I mean, I've seen women in person, and I'm looking at the back of their hair, and you think they're a white woman, and they turn around, they're totally black. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's like, it's like they're trying to change just how they look, Now, I'm not seeing as many black women wearing all the fake eye coloring and the stuff like that anymore as much as because those eye contacts are bad for your eyes. But
the blue and the purple and the green.
But okay, so like your clothing. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your clothing. I know I digress a lot. I told you that's how these shows go, but you're not in a rush, right?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So now, talk a little bit about the clothing. You design what goes on there.
Well, and look, I'm so people will say, well, how many times is she going to mention her husband? But props go where they belong. My husband has designed every one of my shirts. Mm-hmm. I, came up with some of the things, and he knows what I like and what I want, and he'll come up with ideas, and he'll say, hey, I got a shirt, and he'll, I said, oh yeah, that's good, and he'll put it on the site, and if we don't like it, then, we don't use it. But I started saying cute and curvy, and then one day I was like cute and curvy while on my journey. So that's another thing that we put on, my t-shirt. That extra cute, extra curvy is for your BBW queens, such as myself. So, he put that on a shirt for me. But he has really because he's been with me this entire journey, so he knows exactly how I feel. So he has helped me to come up with a lot of the sayings, but the designs is all him. I can't take credit for it. So he has designed my shirts and did my website. His business is Next Tier, and so he does branding and websites and all of that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
yeah,
he needs to join Bob too.
Yes.
And so the name of his company is called Next Tier.
Next Tier, yes.
Next Tier, and he does website development and what else?
He does websites, marketing, help with branding, coming up with a logo. He did my logo. He just talked to me and knew what I wanted, and came to me and showed me everything. He did everything. All I have to do is be cute and show up.
That is so nice. That is nice.
I'm very blessed. And he's an architect.
You are blessed.
Yeah, but I'm very blessed that that he can do all of these things for me. But he is he's excellent, has an excellent eye, and all you have to do is sit and talk with him, and he can give you some ideas on coming up with a logo and your brand.
That is really nice. That is really, really nice.
He did my book
cover. You need to get him on here too, and have him join Bob.
Yeah, you're right.
Or any other Black-owned businesses that you might know.
I know that's right. Yes.
Yep. Okay, so moving on here. So they can go to your website and buy the clothing, and you ship it out. And how long does it take for it to get to where it needs to go?
It normally takes maybe like a week and a half, no longer than 2 weeks.
Okay.
So once you place that order, we get a notification, that you placed the order, and I'm going to say week and a half up to 2 weeks, you will have your shirt. And I do have the larger sizes. Some of the shirts go up to 4X. So because I want everyone to be able to, purchase something and they want to purchase and not feel like, oh, I can't fit the shirt. Right. So my husband, and he knew I was very adamant that I wanted somebody that if they were really, really heavy like I used to be, that they would be able to get a shirt as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yep.
Yeah.
Can't leave nobody out, and this is for people of bigger sizes.
Yeah.
So, we want to make sure that everybody can definitely get in the clothes. But they're definitely cute. I love the pink.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I love pink anyway. It's just feminine and,
Yep.
So, our next segment here, I want to talk about relationships a little bit more. When I was looking at your Facebook page, one thing that I admire is your family. You have a beautiful family.
Thank you. And we always take a silly picture like that. So, and we're due to go take pictures. We go take pictures every year. And we have our normal little, sit here and smile. And then we always take a funny picture. So my husband designed all of those shirts too, by the way, for all of us, except for his. He has the one, the Black Lives Matter.
Right, I like that.
But he did the all our T-shirts and that thing. And my girls are so much fun. We have so much fun in here. It's laughter. And not to say that we don't get angry with each other, but we know that once it's over, then it's over. We have clean slates in this house every second of the day, and it's very important. So, I am. I'm very blessed. I don't take it for granted. Yeah, I don't take it for granted. Beautiful family.
Now, how old are your girls again?
They are 11.
No,
13,
hold on. This
14.
one. Can you see my pointer?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my oldest. I know she looks like, because she is the smallest.
Yeah, she looks.
Yeah, she's 14.
Okay.
And then my tallest baby is the baby. She's 11. She'll be 12 this Thursday.
Okay.
And that's my middle daughter. She is 13.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. You was busy when they was all young, though, because they're close in age.
Oh, I might as well have had triplets. And I'm mad because nobody told us. Nobody told us, don't do that. But they play well together, and they know that they are always to take care of each other and have each other back. So I will say that having them so close together, they're very, very close.
Yeah.
So, but no, I had no help. I might as well have had triplets in here. Yes.
So, let me see here. Okay. So now, some of the things here is that promotes healthy Black families. Now, I took this from, I believe this came from the National Center for Biotechnology Information. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they compile data on, families and, stuff, trends and stuff like that. So, some of the things that they said that promotes a healthy Black families, but they don't say Black, they say African American. I don't like that word, African American. So I threw Black in there. So, and one of the things they said is are mutually concerned for each other's welfare, preservation, development, physically, spiritually, economically, and mentally and socially. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm pointing these things out because these are things that I think a lot of Black families, and I know mine, I come from a dysfunctional family, okay? So, and I'm saying that, I'm not saying my family now, my immediate family, I'm talking about, growing up in my family. Mm-hmm. So, and so when I see love and Black love, and we just don't have enough of it in our families, I praise it. I feel it's a blessing. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to bring that out, that hey, how we have to be concerned for one another. We do have to be, look out for one another, each other's welfare. Okay. And it doesn't stop even to me when the kids get 18. It's something that you have to do as a parent for the rest of your life.
All the time. Yes. Absolutely. All the time. Mm-hmm. And that's how you also check on each other. Even with socially. What kind of friends do our girls have? And just teaching them about how they need to love themselves and how people need to treat them. We model for them. They know how a boyfriend or a husband should treat them. They know how a wife should treat, her husband. So I joke with them a lot. We'll just be driving and I'll say, don't y'all think daddy is really cute? And they'll be like, oh, mommy. So, we let them know that it is important, to be tight. And we also let them know that you will never break this bond in here. You will never break this bond. A lot of people say, oh, well, my children come first. And no, it is me and my husband first. It is he and I first. And we let them know that you will never break this bond, and you will never destroy what we have decided, what we want in our household and how we want our children to be raised. Mm-hmm. And we all contribute to the household. They contribute by getting good grades in school, being respectful, and they are rewarded. And we remind them. Some children can't just come into the house and open up the refrigerator and it's filled with food. Mm-mm. That's a privilege. Mm-hmm. Some people don't have beds to sleep on. That's a privilege. That's a privilege. And so you have to earn that. And that's how you earn those things in this house, by doing what you're supposed to do and going to school and being good students. Because eventually they'll be good, and I'm going to say business owners, because I say to them, you don't have to work for anybody else. You can start your own business. Mm-hmm. You want to start one now? You got a father that can set your website up right now. What you want to do? So all of that plays, even the physical. They see us going to the trainer. They see me counting my steps on my Fitbit, and I speak to them why I eat avocados, because it does this for your body, and I try to educate them. And they also have they're still building their recipes, but I'm to the age where I don't want to cook every day. So whose dish is this? So it's your turn to cook tonight, and you're gonna learn how to fix this dish. And that's how what we try to teach them in the house. Everybody contributes to the house except for the dog. You know, well, he makes us happy. I guess that's how he contributes, right? So, yeah. So it's very important, and I tell them that I'm doing this. I'm eating better and I'm exercising, not because I'm trying to be a different size, but because I want to be here for you, and I want to see your children, and I want to meet your husband, and I want to see how you grow into a woman. I want to be here to see all of those things, and that's how I teach them that you need to care about your body so we can be here longer and enjoy one another.
Yeah, that's very inspirational. I love that.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish you could have been my mother. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know what? We all had.
Shoot, girl, I need to send you some more kids. Have you thought about being a foster mama? Have you thought about being, you and your husband adopting some more children?
You know what? No, we haven't even, we have not thought about that. And of course, my husband gets that famous question. Well, don't you want a boy? Well, you know what? We tried for a boy 3 times.
Oh,
and
really?
it didn't work. So, and trust me, that 4th one would have been a girl. So, we haven't really thought about it, but, I have to, you always have to stand in your truth. And I love my mother, but, she wasn't all that nice to me growing up, because she did the best that she could. She wanted me to be smaller. And I think her tactic was to try to scare me into losing the weight. So I was told things like, you're never going to have a boyfriend. You're not going to be able to go to college. You're not going to be able to get a job. They don't hire fat people. I mean, just like all these kind of things, that she would say to me. And then on the other hand, my father was like, you're beautiful the way you are. You're my baby. And then on the flip side of that, she sold. So she would say these things, but I would have nice clothes and so now that I'm older, I think of it as she did it the best way that she knew how to do it, and it helped me because being the person that I am, I decided to prove her wrong.
Right.
But what you mean I can't go to college? I got 3 degrees. What you mean I'm not going to have a boyfriend?
So
I'm
your
married
mother,
my
she's
boyfriend.
still alive?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, good. Yeah, my mother passed, and she passed some time ago. And, we became really good friends, before she passed. So I'm not saying I had a bad relationship with my mother. In fact, I was her caregiver, you know. And,
my mother and I are good, too. I said my mother and I are good, too. But it's like I'm gonna tell the truth, though.
The truth is, that, and I can say that being a parent is difficult.
Yes, it is.
I mean, and it's even more difficult. It gets more difficult, I think, all the time because the society we live in. We don't want our kids to get involved with certain things. We find things to be so immoral. We just, it's difficult. Our kids are so, and I know my kids were. They get into their friends and their peers and all this other stuff that's going on in the society, and it's just hard to keep them out of it. And it's hard to explain things at times, and sometimes you might not even have time to explain things.
You're right.
And you just hope for the best.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of our black families are missing too is that we don't have that extension of all the other relatives that were good mentors back at that time.
Yes.
That could mentor. I mean, we have so many of the mentors in the family are not what we call good mentors anymore. Because we got so much other stuff going on where there's so much infighting or jealousy or you name it. Competition with one another. I see lots of families where, you know, people are in competition with one another
all the time.
And those are not healthy environments.
No.
And so we don't have that extension of family anymore for the kids. And I know that played a role in raising my kids. That, you know, so anyway, I just thought I'd bring that point out. I didn't want to stick on it too long, but I did kind of want to talk a little bit about these things that are important here. And I'm so glad that you're here with me. This is taking a lot longer than what you had anticipated, but you know, we're having a good discussion tonight.
Yeah,
on this.
And it's important.
Now, your spirituality, are you a spiritual person?
I am, and I just said to my husband, because for the last 2 years, I have been saying to him, I want to find a church. You know, we speak of God in this house, we pray in this house, but now I've come to a point in my life where I want to be in fellowship with other people. And so that's going to be one of our goals for this year, is to find a church home. I am more in tune with my spirituality and not religion. I will say that. So what I try to teach my children is, you treat people how you want to be treated. If you don't like someone, that's fine, because everybody's not going to like you, but you don't need to tell that person that you don't like them, and you don't need to show that person that you don't like them. So, and that's the kind of church that I'm looking for. So, you know.
So what denomination were you? I